Damn it, my video messed up. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's been paying attention to the social media and the news, staying updated with COVID. I figured I'd make another video to just give an update on the whole situation regarding Brother Polight. Seems like there are people doing more coverage, and I wanted to, throw my framework out there. Thanks for the new recent subscribers. Even though it's a small amount, it's better than nothing. So hopefully you guys stick around and you browse some other videos and move from there. In recent news, Brother Polight, who's part of the whole woke conscious community, whatever that is, whatever that term means at this point, he did gain a lot of traction to being a voice for the black community, and in terms of information online or books, these are similar to Joseph Ben Yakinim in the past, or Sheikh Anta Diop, and some quote unquote scholars, but the dude's not a scholar. These people aren't really in the same caliber, or like a Cornell West. Let's be more specific. Let's compare. There are these types of people who are making an effort to improve the conversation around equality and improvement of people of traditionally oppressed groups. And with that whole woke crowd, it's not really people who have substantively led to some improvements in the black community like Cornell West. I lump Brother Polight in the Hassan Campbell, Sheikh Anta Diop, Ray Haggins, Umar Johnson. These are the more King Pharaoh, some of the confused bullshit, nonsense, woke shit. He was around that, and he's made a name for himself. Apparently, you look online, his net worth like $5 million. Conceptually, the man's made tons of money off black people. He's been pimping people off of pain for a long time. So, me, I don't agree. Part of the content that I decided to create was to bring attention to this, but more being able to provide a more consistent framework in order to improve the lives of traditionally oppressed groups, not limited to black people. Some of my videos in the past were focused on paying attention to some people who are taking a step forward and 2 steps back with the black community. Anyway, Brother Polight allegedly fiddled with a 14-year-old girl who was his wife's daughter or ex-wife or whatever, because he is a polygamist or whatever. Basically, whatever he did, allegedly, I'm gonna keep the alleged, but it seems like he didn't deny it in his video, which is the issue. They found some DNA evidence or some semen on her shirt, something like that. And, I haven't really seen, I don't know if this is concrete proof of, Michael Nowak is his name, but I haven't seen the proof of him actually being arrested. But it seems like there's something going on and he has responded to it. And this has been, this case specifically has been happening for a minute now. So it didn't recently come up. It just became public recently. But there's been some stuff happening. He did post bail and all that apparently. So, Brother Polight, after people attempting to cancel him or bring attention to this, Brother Polight made a video. And in this video, it was a long rant, pretty much going about how, things he does, things that are beneficial to him, him trying to help people, when you get to a position that he's at, people always try to bring you down. Basically, he was trying to diffuse responsibility. He was trying to absolve himself from any of these allegations. He said he did not want to speak on them because he wanted to make sure the legal team responded correctly, or that he had the legal team takes care of it. There are some counters that people are presenting, like, if it's so easy to defend, why don't you just come out? You don't have to worry about a legal team. I can understand where those people are coming from, and in the same breath, I can say that with certain charges, you probably do want to be a little bit more careful about just speaking about open cases, which is a thing for him right now. So it is a case. It is open. There are people investigating, but he doesn't want to speak on the details. That being said, if it's that deep, and this is a 14-year-old of one of your partners, there must be a degree of truth to it, because now you got to lawyer up. Now, conceptually, we can take in the argument that, like, hey, some legal stuff, you want to be careful. Maybe a murder or something like that. But this is a very specific claim. This is pedophilia, or like hebephilia. This is like sexual assault to a minor. This is not like other things where you probably don't want to speak on because they're open cases. This is pretty much an open and shut when it comes to children. I said in my last video that you can pay attention to some statements from people in the past and see a peek into the consistency of their views and see how, damn, when something happens or some news breaks, like that's not the first time. They probably gave out some red flags. And in the video I said in my past video, I said that regarding him, there was a video that Hassan Campbell had stated was out there where he was talking about Malachi Z. York, which is known to have the most convictions of assault on sexual assault of minors or children, child porn, pedo stuff in United States history. That man is convicted. The most convictions for child stuff in history, more than any of them priests touching fiddling boys on their booty hole. Worse than that. Apparently, people were drawing comparisons. Oh, he was saying in the video, he was speaking to, I saw the title of the video, and this video does exist. I saw a snippet of it this morning. It's something around, if you look up YouTube, Malachi Z. York, Brother Polight, it's speaking to like some light-skinned dude who was like a survivor or something. And Brother Polight in that video, and this is a confirmation to what Hassan Campbell said, is there is video out there showing Brother Polight saying, even if some people did some heinous things in the past, you would still worship them. Where he was trying to imply that even if a person did some things you would perceive as good and some things you perceive as bad, you would take it in as everything. And and he said that would be my God. And the reference and the relation that he put there was, even if it's thousands of kids, it's in the proof, it's the truth, it's the DNA's out there, it will still be your God. He compared this to to Christian people when they don't acknowledge certain parts of Christianity that are in the Bible. So what he tried to do is to make it seem like there aren't some principles that you can have some consistency in, where you do not just accept everything from everyone, where you accept anything from everyone and you take the good with the bad. But this is not how the world works, right? Like, there is some precision that we have in the world regarding things that are good and things that are bad. One of the things that are not for negotiation for us in America and the world are people messing with children. Like, that's a no-go. So the fact that he was speaking to somebody who was a supporter of Malachi Z. York, a brainwashed individual, and told them that he would still support someone like that man who engaged in sexual acts with children, that was a peek into his mind. Years later, this dude apparently fiddled with kids, and he thinks that he wants to wait until the investigation is over. He got a legal team, but he's trying to absolve himself pertaining to the idea of playing with a minor. How can people fall for this? There are people right now who are blindly supporting a man like that who has no moral consistency whatsoever. Due to the God complex that he has, he believes that all of his acts are somewhat righteous, or all of his acts should be taken together in a bundle and be accepted. This is disgusting. The black community, they built a monster who's too big to fail. Now, he probably will fail or he won't, but it don't matter. But the Polight, the reality that these allegations came out and people are willing to not believe what is coming out of people's mouth, regardless of how much this man went on a rant in that 10-minute Instagram video or whatever, beating around the bush the entire time, instead of just saying, nah, it's cool, I got lawyers and we're going to defend it this way, but I never touched that girl, I never touched her, this is something going on, it's more personal. He could have at least given it like a peek into it. it's a open and shut case if you're talking about messing with little kids, bro. Unless there's a degree of truth to that. He jumped around it. He waffled the entire time. And the issue is with the black community is you guys have many people like this. And there are all types. Black people aren't the only types of people who do this. There are always going to be individuals who are going to provide some information, bridge some gap in your mind when it comes to something you don't understand. And when black people, many people have suffered from trauma, many black people were lost, and the attempt to get quote unquote woke, the information ain't coming from anybody else. Yeah. Brother Polight was one of those resources. In the past, it was Joseph Ben Yachanim. In the past, it was John Henrik Clark. Some of these people, it was Dr. Sebi. If you look at many of these people were not really that nice. Dr. Sebi, I ain't even going to that. People still supporting that dude. Not people anti-vax and they trying to use holistic medicine to defend themselves from COVID. Like, black people made an effort. Black people or people of traditionally oppressed groups have been taken advantage of by people who can take advantage of the logical leaps that people make. And unfortunately, it's not just with ears, right? It's with money. We can go into the type of, exploitation or the type of ways that you can be compensated for this. But for a person like Brother Polight, like that dude did like extra. He has a whole website. He talks about options, all of those things are scams. I would never take advice from that guy about finance. Most of the money that he made was from trying to do seminars, talking about black stuff. It was never about stocks or options. He doesn't know anything about that, but he played into it. How did he develop a market or an audience to exploit when it comes to things like this that seem more legit? He exploited them based off of pain, based off of a lack of understanding, or based off of a lack of direction in terms of how to gain a holistic understanding or to gain some more insight on issues pertaining to people, and specifically black people. They took advantage of it. I'm not going to go through all these other examples, but with Brother Polight, he did that. And unfortunately, and I've stated this many times, that you should kill your idol. What I mean by that is you should make an effort to hold your idol under the most scrutiny. A lot of people are not willing to stop listening to someone or stop agreeing with someone based off of the utility that they gained out of them and the utility they gained from that person in the past. Some people, they still have some views that are not even factually correct by Brother Polight, but because it did provide some utility to them at that time, they do feel that they're learning something new, that this is the gap that was filled by his information in their argument or in their understanding. It is sound, it is correct, it is accurate. And these people, they are not even willing to believe something like this would be a thing that is done by him. And when you are blind, that's like a cult-like behavior, right? You cannot question me. You cannot, everything I do is divine, This is similar to God. This is similar to people this is saying like you can't even criticize someone like God, right? You can do all these things that are bad, do all these things that are good, and you just accept it. I mean, that's kind of the reason some people are atheists, right? To an extent, the thing that Brother Polight is trying to claim that he is, that's part of the argument that he used initially to like gain traction, right? Talk about contradictions in people. Talk about, hey, this part of the Bible, this is the Old Testament. Y'all used to kill this, black people used to do this. You should be your slave, blah, blah, blah. Like, the same line of thinking that he used to take people away from Christianity, he is now using it to defend himself against hebephilia accusations. Something is up. Black people need to do better. Unfortunately, it's a really bad problem. The problem, one of the big problems with this is it's not a problem that is just fake news or it's misinformation. It's the fact that people fall for the misinformation and they engage in actions based off of that information. This is similar to people getting misinformation about the election, only for a bunch of white people to be scaling up the walls at the Capitol. Opinions lead to actions. You can't act without an opinion. So things like that, things like that, many of the actions that people have engaged in that was positive to their life, that information came from Brother Polight. And that cognitive dissonance that may be occurring with them right now, the conflict in two thoughts of someone who you thought was an idol or who helped you when you were in a state in your life and you're now better, all of a sudden he's a pedophile. That motivated reasoning is very, people use motivated reasoning to justify that cognitive dissonance, right? I mean, well, he did some good. And to an extent, he's playing into it. Hey, don't argue that with Christians. Don't, they accept God, whatever he did. No. Now you make it seem like you can never hold somebody under scrutiny, but we'd never do this, right? We just don't do this in the world, right? We don't do this with Nazis and racism. We don't say like, hey, like Nazis, you may have Hitler, you were a really bad person. You had like family. Like these are not things that we really do. Hold on, I'm like cleaning my face at the same time. These are usually not lines of thinking that we engage in, where we don't have any consistency or any precision with some principles in our morals and ethics, and just everything can be everything and you just accept. We do not operate in the world like this. If that was the case, then pedophilia would be acceptable. So the fact that he's now trying to make it seem again like it's okay, it's not good. Do I know the direction this is going to go in? Like many other canceling moments, like I can't say this is the end of it. There's no way I can say that. There's no way I can prove that. And the reason I won't say that can happen is because people have short attention spans. And when it comes to media and all these people who are really bad people in general, they don't really get substantively canceled. It doesn't happen often. Even if this is a small bubble, most of the world is like, who the hell is Brother Polight? But the reality is he is like a master of his own little world, right? That man is a multi-millionaire off bamboozling people. He's a fake woke person, like I've said. It's very tough for people to get away. Like, damn, all these things I did in my life, now you're telling me the person who gave me this information that someone helped me is a bad person? I don't think so. And it's very tough for them. So I don't think that this is going to completely cancel him. It's unfortunate. I do hope it does. If it is true, again, these are allegations. And the reason I'm just trying to protect myself by saying allegations is because, it could end up being a finesse, but at the same time, there's already some red flags in the past where he said it would be somewhat acceptable, and no one has said anything about being molested, or no one has said anything about being hypothetically molested, but it is some sexual assault with a minor, some sexual act with a minor. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be penetrative intercourse. It doesn't have to be that. The fact that people are just like people would be willing to throw their kid away or not accept their kid as who they are, someone who came out of them, if they're gay. This is another example. People would be willing to protect that man instead of think about kids who may have been molested. Now, is it possible that it's not true? We can look at Michael Jackson. Some of the cases for Michael Jackson, those things weren't true. Those things weren't true, especially that Hispanic boy who was holding his hand or whatever. That's not, that there's no evidence that actually happened. So was it possible that it happened? Sure. Have people who are in positions of power who are black been accused of things and it not been true? Yes, but they're usually bigger. Why is anybody going to waste their time trying to make a whole conspiracy about you? Now, again, it may be possible, but I highly doubt it considering the amount of waffling that he was doing. And Instead of him coming out immediately and trying to push against it, what Brother Polight did is he waited for like a day. He waited for like a day. He didn't post social media that day. His comments were going off. He decided to not post that day. Why would you not? If it's an easy thing, you don't gotta do any prep. It's just a quick message, a quick tweet, a quick post, a quick Insta story. One of those things he could have done. But unfortunately, he didn't do any of those things. And in my opinion, you know, I think people need to make an effort to do more research. And based off of the videos that I've seen, and based off of just screenshot, I tried to look up his name myself, and records did not come up for him. So I know people are talking about bail and all of that, but I don't really see the hardcore proof. I'm going to confirm this today. Again, I said it in my last video, but I'm going to confirm this today. I'm going to post a link in my description. If I find it, then I will post it. I did not see it last time. There is a woman like Wine with Sasha K. We don't even have like a clear screenshot of what she's doing though. Like we don't. I hate to say it, but we don't. Like there's allegations of different types of bail. Apparently she got insight from the penitentiary. Like these things don't even make, even if I see a mugshot, but a mugshot for him, that could be from anything in the past. Like I think it's very important if people are gonna throw out crazy or serious allegations like this, that they need to have clearer stories, because these things can end a man's career. So in an effort to help this entire situation, some of what I may be saying, which is quasi speculation, I'm going to post my results of my search today. When I tried to do it from the mobile Miami Dade account and look up his age and his name, he did not come up. Maybe I missed something. I saw a recorded video from like a phone screen recording. I am not sure if that's true. Like it didn't come up when I did it. So I'm gonna do it after I release this. And if you have any comments, like and subscribe. You know, what are people gonna do? You know, be careful, attack your idols. It's not the best way to protect yourself from this or falling into this trap of feeling helpless. The idea that a lot of actions that you partook in your life were based off someone who was a fraud. You gotta do your own research. Even if some information is given to you by a person and it's right, there can be incorrect information in that. I've said this about Hassan Campbell. I've said this about these people, Spiritual Soul and all these people. There is no way that these people are as clear as are as correct as they say, because if that was the case, the world would be moving in their direction with this framework, and it doesn't. The world moves in that direction with my framework as a person who's trying to improve the black community. It does. A Cornel West does not compare to a Sheikh Anta Diop. A Cornel West does not compare to a Umar Johnson. A Cornel West does not compare, so I'm not even close to a Cornel West. But again, the factual information. One sec. A Cornel West does not translate to a Umar Johnson. He does not equate to a Hassan Campbell. Talking about y'all want to help the community, but you trying to compare the outrage of the baby being homophobic to Brother Polight. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. And these people, they hide. When it comes to people who they know who can try and end them, they hide. They create an echo chamber. They know they can be protected by their fans, and it's like a negative perpetuity loop where you take in more people, you isolate information that can be contradictory to yours to where people are like, oh, damn, like that makes sense. Hey, we don't know what he's saying. Can you help us get this answer? Because this makes sense. Like, y'all are both making sense now. Brother Polight has set himself in a situation where even if he's gonna lose some fans, the rabid cult-like behavior that comes out of these types of people many people who don't want to attack their idols, he's able to feel that, you know, I can wait. He's still gonna have his cars for a minute. He's still gonna have all that. But you know, it's important for people to pay attention. Kill your idols. Attack your idols. When I mean kill, I don't mean end their lives. I mean kill the idea you have of them. Don't be enamored with the words or the make sure they're making a sound arguments. Make sure their substance is there. Comment, like, subscribe, add more if you want to. You know, GG.